Hello everyone, welcome to Clarity 16.3.1 Feature Supportability Training. I am Ramakrishna. As part of this section, we will be talking about extension of agreements functionality in Clarity. As part of 16.3.1 release, we extended the functionality of agreements to investments and investments module in staffing. We also introduced grid layout in investments module of staffing workspace. Why is this important? Enhancing the availability of agreements management from investments and investments module in staffing helps users with quick view of dependencies via agreements that can enhance collaboration and drive quicker decision making as well as execution. The Investments tab in Clarity Staffing Workspace provides a comprehensive view of active investments to aid strategic planning and efficient resource allocation. In previous releases, the Investment tab only had timeline layout. The Investment tab now includes the grid layout that displays all the investments that a user can access in one grid. This layout helps users to view information related to all available investments at one place for ease of reference and review as required. In this demo, we will see how to create, edit and delete agreements in investments. In 16.3.1, we provided the ability of creating agreements from within the Investments Agreements tab. We are in a blueprint with the name Project Major, which is related to the investment project, and I am in a module section. When we click on edit it and go to agreements module, we can see that there are three flags that are available now. They are enable quick create. This option allows users to create an agreement by clicking the plus icon within the agreements module. Enable quick create dialog. This option allows users to create business agreements from the agreements module using the create from template option. New from template button is not driven by blueprint but by create from template global access right. The third option that is available is show in details flyout. This option allows users to see agreements in details flyout of the respective investment. For this particular blueprint, let us enable all the three toggles and publish the blueprint. Now let us associate the blueprint that we made changes to a project digital banking FY25. Let's get into this project. We can see the plus button and new from template, both options getting enabled. Now let us go through the steps to look at creating an agreement by using the plus button, that is quick create toggle. User can click on plus button and create an agreement. Successor is defaulted to the respective investment and the value can be seen in successor field. Created agreement can be viewed in agreements workspace. Enhanced loan management functionality is the agreement created with successor digital banking FY25. User can change the successor and the agreement will be moved out of the present agreement grid to the respective investment. Now let us try to move the agreement from digital banking to able payments module FY25. Now let's go to able payments module FY25 and we can see the agreement being moved to the moved project, and the successor is displaying the name of the investment. From within the investment, agreements grid will only show the agreements associated to that particular investment. In agreements blueprint, add predecessor and successor attributes. Now we are in administration blueprints. Let me get into standard agreement blueprint. Let's click on edit, go to create from template and add predecessor and successor to the template properties and then publish it. From agreements workspace, let us make a couple of agreements as templates by selecting the toggle under template column. Now let us click on new from template. Select a template pop-up appears displaying all the agreements that are converted into template. Let us select amend a business agreement template and then click next. As we can see, the new agreement pop-up appears displaying successors as digital banking FY25, which is the investment from where we are creating the agreement, and migrate ARD from New York data center, which is part of the template. If we want to change, we can change it, or else we can leave it there. And we can also have a predecessor, because these are the predecessors already available as part of the template. Just give the name as and then click create. An agreement is created and we are navigated to created agreement canvas with a link to the navigate to the source investment. In this way, we can create an agreement through create dialog, that is using new from template. Agreements through details found. User will be able to see agreements tab if agreements module is configured in respective blueprint. Let us click on details and we can see the agreements module. Agreements tab in details flyout will only display those agreements which are associated with that particular investment. From the agreements tab in details flyout, user can create an agreement by clicking on plus button. A new row is created populating the respective investment as successor. And in this way, an agreement can be created. We can also associate predecessor to the agreement. User can click on expand, and in expand mode user can use new from template. Let us select analytics engine harness as the template and give the name and then click on create. As we can see, the agreement is created and the canvas is open displaying the created agreement. We can click on projects and go back to the projects workspace. Here we can see an agreement created through expand mode and using the new from template. These agreements that are created through details flyout agreements tab are displayed in agreements workspace. In agreements workspace, we can see the respective agreements getting displayed. User can edit agreements in agreements module and details flyout by clicking on the agreement name to navigate to agreement canvas. Here we can edit the agreement, or we can get into an expand mode, select the agreement and then click on edit, which will allow us to make the change, then click on save, close. So user can edit agreements either from the agreements grid in details flyout or through expand mode. In agreements module of the investment 2, user can edit using the same process, that is by clicking on the name of the agreement, going to the canvas and editing the agreement, or user can select an agreement and then click on edit and make the change as they would like to. In this way, an agreement can be edited from agreements module within an investment. User can delete an agreement in agreements module either by selecting the agreement and using delete option available at the top of the agreements grid or through context menu. User can delete agreements in details flyout by using the context menu delete row action. Create, edit and delete of agreements are driven by respective agreements access rights. So a user should have the required access rights to work on create, edit and delete of agreements. Upgrade impact. After upgrade, user need to edit the relevant investment blueprint and select the associated toggle for the agreements module to work with respective agreements functionality. In this demo, we will see how to create, edit and delete agreements in staffing investments. Create, edit and delete agreements in staffing investments. In 16.3.1, we provided the ability of creating agreements from staffing workspace, investments, timeline and grid layouts through details flyout agreements tab. User can now create and manage business agreements from the timeline and grid layouts if administrator has edited the relevant investment blueprint and selected the show in details flyout option for the agreements blueprint. For example, project major blueprint has show in details flyout option enabled. So when we select digital banking FY25 investment details, we can see the agreements module displaying the agreements associated with the particular investment. Project executive blueprint doesn't have show in details flyout option enabled. So when we open the investment details flyout, we will not see the agreements module. Same is the case in timeline layout. Here with digital banking FY25, when we click on details, we see the agreements tab displaying the list of agreements associated with the investment, and when we select an investment which doesn't have show in details flyout option, it will not show agreements module. Create, edit and delete actions in details flyout are driven by agreements, access rights and not by blueprint toggles. User can create, edit and delete agreements in the same manner as they do on investment details flyout from respective investment workspaces. In this demo, we will go through the grid layout in staffing investments. In 16.3.1, we introduced grid layout in investments tab of staffing workspace. Required filters are honored by default and we display active investments and no templates as the filter. User can change the values of the required filters and the grid below will display the data as per the filter set. There is no plus button or new from template for the user to create an investment from this grid layout. User can open the details flyout of any investment and all the details panel functionality that is supported in Clarity's grid layout are supported even in this grid layout. Like we can configure the attributes as required and the details will get reflected. In view options, we introduced a new toggle show only for selected periods. This is available in both timeline layout as well as in grid layout. As we can see, when the toggle is off, the total number of records that are available in the system are 312. We honor filtering on TSV attributes by using the toggle show only for selected periods. Now when we toggle on the toggle show only for selected periods, the total number of records that are getting displayed are 270 that matches the period setting above the toggle. The timeline and grid layouts share the same toggle. That is, when we toggle off show only for selected periods in grid layout, even in timeline layout it will be toggled off. We are presently in grid layout and in view options I have set the periods as months and the start period as 2024-05 and period as 2025-05. And when the toggle is off, there are 308 records that are filtered with the period setting. Now when we toggle on show only for selected periods, the system has retrieved 260 records meeting the period filter. This can be saved as a separate view. We are presently in timeline layout and in view options of timeline layout we have set the periods as months and the start period is 2025-05 and the end period is 2025-06. Here when the toggle is off, the total number of records that are getting displayed are 308 and when the toggle is on, the total number of records that are retrieved are 135 because the periods, the start and end periods change between grid layout and the timeline layout. This can be saved as a separate view. The investment grid layout also supports manage scenarios functionality. In scenario mode, user can only modify start date of the investment and based on the existing business rules, the finish date or other attribute values will change. Let us look at the scenarios functionality in grid layout. To start with, I have filtered for a particular investment like Able Payments Digital Experience idea. Now let us create a new scenario with the name investment grid scenario. Click on save, and by default when we are getting into scenario mode, the newly created scenario is going to be compared with current data. Now let us select none as current data, and only start date is editable in investments grid layout. So let us change this start date to something like June 3rd. As we can see, the finish date also changed as per the business rule that is applied. Now let us compare this with current data. This could be related to view options, so let us change this to 2025 01 to 2026 01, and now we can see the data coming up. So the scenario data is shown as editable, and the current data with which it is being compared is shown as read only. This is how a scenario is supported in grid layout. We can change the compare to value to none to view only the scenario data, or we can compare it with current data or with any other scenario that is available. And if we want to view the default scenario data, we can just click on exit scenario mode and we can see the default scenario data. This concludes the dependencies agreement section. Thank you.